Aiming is the most important fundamental when it comes to competitive Fortnite. Therefore, practicing enough and correctly can't be neglected if you want to improve and eventually win a tournament. Though, as a matter of fact, the vast majority of people doesn't know anything about how to improve in that area, and there is a huge possibility that you are one of them. Let's plunge into it. Before we'll cover some ways how to practice and crucial aiming tips I wish I knew when I started my aiming practice journey, the first thing I want to cover quickly is the term sensitivity, as I think that many get this wrong. Finding the correct sensitivity for oneself is a crucial step as it changes your playstyle and the way you're gonna practice. If you have a good sensitivity, check the timestamps to skip to the next part. For the ones who do not have a fixed sense or are unsecure whether they should change it, I think I have the correct antidote for your indecision. Let me explain. As you might know, there is low, mid and high sense. No? Wait, what then? Okay, for sure you can categorize sensitivity in those three subdivisions, but for you this doesn't matter. It is way more important to choose a sense you're good on without overthinking if it is high or low, if it is played by a pro or not, if it is 4% or 14%. And secondly, there is no perfect sense. It is all about your aim. Have you recognized pros changing sense in between the range from 5%, 800 DPI, all the way up to 10% without their placements being influenced? As you will get used to pretty much every sense after 1 or 2 days, at least to the point that you can win some fights, changing and experimenting is easily possible and won't harm your progress. Just do not go over 14 or below 4%, as this might actually limit your abilities. And please, give me a promise that you won't change your sense based on emotions because you missed one shot, but rather after trying it out for at least 2 weeks, okay? And now, for the ones who might have been waiting for a how to find my perfect sensitivity tutorial, it is your time now. By the way, do not do this if you already feel comfortable with the sensitivity. I would suggest to, as I just said, try it out. Go into creative, change your sense to 7, 8 or 9%. That's a decent one for proper aiming and good building. And then free build 1 minute. Go up 1 or 2%, free build again. Go down 0.5%, free build, and get closer to what you feel most comfortable with. And then, do not switch and you will recognize significant improvement. The second thing I want to teach you are practice routines and especially Kovaaks and Aimduals. As I have over 500 hours of playtime and would approve it as proper valuable, the first practice method I will explain is Kovaaks. For all controller players, you can skip this, but before I will give you a routine, we first of all have to ask the question, why is grinding Kovaaks even necessary? And the answer might be different to what you have expected. Kovaaks helps you to develop godlike aim in the beginning and in an advanced stage of aiming. In between, there are Aimduals for those who have established decent mouse control and crosshair placement, but I will cover that in a second. For Kovaaks, however, I would follow this routine which encompasses tracking, click timing, no, it's not called flicking, and target switching maps. Sounds complicated, but it's very obvious in practice. I would recommend you to play around 5 challenges of each, which should be 1 hour in total. Obviously you can only do 2 or 3 and then it's half an hour. If I should make a video on how to set up your Kovaaks as well as how to practice perfectly and the best settings to get better aim in Fortnite, let me know in the comments. When it comes to practicing your aim, you must ensure that your arm is not tensed and you are completely focused on the target. Especially in Kovaaks, falling into deep thoughts might occur quite occasionally. Yeah, it is boring as fuck. But if you can extract 30 minutes of your daily attention and put it into your aim practice, you will recognize significant improvement in your mouse control and aiming smoothness. The other way you can practice your aim, and this also works for controller, is to play Aimduals. By the time Fortnite developed, Kovaaks got replaced a lot by Aimduals. Obviously, you do not need to buy an extra game and can practice in-game. Additionally, Aimduals have another pro which cannot be ignored. It is more realistic. Especially in Fortnite, this makes a huge difference. As Fortnite is different to other games, every weapon behaves differently, and by getting used to the different bullet drops, bloom features and crosshairs, you can guarantee an advantage. Therefore, crafting a routine with a good friend or with your duo in which you play a variety of different Aimduals is no way inferior to Kovaaks. Another thing you learn in Aimduals is to use your movement. As Fortnite has a specific player hitbox, movement and UV, you can gain a huge advantage by adapting your movement to your aim. One example is a right shoulder peek. As a matter of fact, the crosshair in Fortnite is on the right side of the character model, which makes peeking with a left shoulder peek nearly impossible, as your enemy will see you first before you can hit him or even aim at him. Therefore, some pros have recognized that if you sneak to your right when standing closely to the enemy, it is very hard for him to see you as you are hiding behind his skin. Subsequently, I want to give you the tip to stop moving backwards when engaging into a box, as it is easier for your enemy to aim at you. Makes sense, as he will hit you without moving his crosshair. Just do not do it in the future, yeah? In the end, I want to give you some tips which will make your aim instantly better if you apply them to your game. The first one is to focus on your enemy and not the crosshair. I don't know how you manage it, but most of the players I see are staring at their crosshair, trying to match it with the enemy's character model. However, focusing on the enemy is way more efficient, as your brain will subconsciously tell your arm to move the mouse that or this way to match the enemy with the crosshair. Same situation, but different approach. The only situation in which it makes sense to focus on the crosshair instead of the opponent is when tracking someone out of the air or over long distances, and your weapon has first shot accuracy. Though with the new AKs this doesn't really work, as the bloom is different. We will leave it with just different. Another tip you can apply is to stop focusing on hitting your pump shot in an in-game situation. For example, if you jump into a box or flick up when the enemy is jumping onto you from above. Have some trust in your aim, my friend. You're practicing it anyways, so stop caring about being concise when there are so many other way more important things you should focus on in the fight, but more about fighting in this video. The third tip is also very important, and you can try it out for yourself when playing the next Aimdual. Make sure to go for the body when shooting with your SMG and for the head with the pump. As the head is much smaller than the body, way more bullets will actually connect when shooting at your opponent with your spray weapon. The extra damage of a headshot then doesn't make a big of a difference, but with the pump, of course, go for that max damage. The next tip will be a good one for all of you who struggle to hit consistent headshots or even body shots with your pump gun. Every one of you know the moment when your crosshair matches the opponent only by a small amount, which leads to a 30 or 40 damage hit. This is an issue caused by your bad crosshair placement, as you have to flick most of the times to bring your crosshair close to the enemy. However, if you start to consciously aim for the head of the opponent by tracking them through a wall, for example, obviously, unless you cheat, you can't exactly track him, just estimate. And then finishing the shot with a small micro adjustment, which you do with your wrist, the chance you will eventually miss the shot is way less likely compared if you do it with poor crosshair placement. The last trick I will tell you is a strategy I've just recently learned by talking to one of my old Fortnite duomates. He told me to start watching more footage of good aimers like Thomas, Venue, Tayson, or basically any pro to get a feeling how tier 1's aiming actually look like. Of course, in the beginning you might not be able to detect all of the certain things which make their aim good, but after some time you will get used to analyzing their way of how to play the game and in advance adjust by the things you have observed. That's it for today. If you are interested in other videos just like this, in which I explain how to piece or build or qual, check out my channel or just click on one of those videos to expand your skill even more. If you have enjoyed this video, make sure to comment what you liked most and share it with a friend who might need it as well. Enjoy your day if you're pussy, and check out my one-on-one coaching. First 3 clients are free. Link in the info box. Peace out, bro.